Welcome to the InterProperties Podcast, where we discuss real estate and more.
Hello, and welcome to InterProperties Podcast. My name is Konstantin Shalegera, and I am excited to be joined by JJohn-Paul Comes. JJohn-Paul is a seasoned professional in the real estate who has been in the industry for over a decade. JJohn-Paul is concentrating and specializing his business in downtown Chicago condominiums. Today, we will be talking about downtown market, and we will be discussing the insights of this very particular and very exciting. The way we're going to work with today is we have questions which we collected from our clients, and most of those questions are here on the cards. I will pull out the card, read the question, and we will discuss it with them.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
What is the easiest condo deal you've ever done, and what is the toughest?
All right. Good question. So I think you could say it just like I can. There is no easy deal, right? But if I really reflect, during COVID, right, we were doing a lot of video tours. We were going in condos, masked up with our gloves on, taking videos for people. So sometimes these buyers weren't even stepping foot in the condo, right? So
they would buy it.
And they would buy it, sight unseen, right? Just from marketing, a 3D floor plan, a nice video that we're taking for them. So from start to finish in the transaction, they weren't at the showing, they weren't at the inspection. Sometimes they're not even at the final walkthrough. So we had many deals like that, and limited interactions with a client. Obviously, less speed bumps, less things come up. So I would say that during that time, there was a lot of virtual buyers, and I would say those were pretty easy. Yeah.
Does that affect it, or did it affect the price at that time? So was it easier to negotiate?
I think that there was a very touchy time in like 2020 and 2021 where a lot of people thought downtown Chicago's over. Big city living's done. Everyone's working from home. No more suits. In fact, we got a lot of dirty looks wearing suits because we never stopped. But I could tell you that with negotiations, a lot of people wanted to get things done. Sellers were motivated. They were on the market for a reason, right? They wanted to put a deal together. So if people are still buying, and there was limited people, right? A lot of people were scared. There's a lot of unknowns. So I think deals were made, and when you had an interested buyer, I think the deals were put together somewhat easier. It's the time where they were announcing the lockdown where a lot of people got uneasy. We had many deals die in attorney review when, they called the stay-at-home, what was it called again? It was so long ago. The stay-at-home order, whatever it was?
Yes, stay-at-home order.
So when everything shut down, lockdown, restaurants, bars. So people were in attorney review. Still, you can kill the deal. A lot of people did. They're like, who's going to feel comfortable? We knew nothing at the time. So we did have a lot of deals die during that time.
Uncertainty.
As well. Yeah.
Uncertainty played a role.
I hate that word because I've heard it so many times. Gives me PTSD. So, yeah.
It's almost gone.
Yeah.
All right. Without naming names, are there Chicago buildings you'd warn people to stay away from?
So, there's plenty of buildings in Chicago that I wouldn't recommend buying in, a lot of high rises. And I always say association is a very important, part of your purchase, right? You're not just buying the condo, the kitchen, you're buying the building, the association, the rules. There are many buildings in Chicago, since I won't name the names, but there's been buildings that have been trying to flip to rentals, deconversions, right? So the rental percentage is super high, over 50%, in some cases over 60%, and makes borrowing very hard for a consumer. Obviously, you have that risk that's always hovering over you. Is this going to flip to rentals? Is a developer going to come and try to buy me out? Those are buildings, I would say, that exist in Chicago, and try to stay away from if you can.
Right.
Yeah.
I've ran into a couple of those also.
Yeah.
Yes. The condition of the building has to be taken under consideration no matter what.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Parking in Chicago. What's the biggest mistake people make when buying a condo with parking?
So a mistake with parking, I would say we always recommend, even if our client doesn't have a car, always buy the parking, right? Because we're thinking of resale. When you go back to the market, whether you sell
Absolutely.
it, whether you rent it, you don't want to have any filters that are going to deter any potential buyer in the future. So if you have no spot and you have another unit on the market that's comparable to your one you're trying to sell, that one has parking, yours doesn't, it's a no-brainer for someone who has a car. So I'm going to say it loud and clear. If there's a parking spot, buy it, because you could rent it, no problem, within the building. It'll cover the costs of whatever you have to borrow on it, the HOAs, the taxes. So for resale, liquidity, buying parking is almost a must. So,
right. Any hidden details about parkings you've ran into?
So I mean, there's a couple different types of parking, right? In high rises, we see deeded spots more often, right? And then you start going to the north side or smaller buildings, you have assigned spots, then you have limited common element spots.
Mm-hmm.
So deeded is, you got to remember, you have carrying costs on them. So a lot of people don't know that. They'll see the HOA, say it's $500 a month.
Yes.
Then you have another $60 a month in your HOAs. And then you have a small tax bill on the spot as well, meaning it could trade separately. So a lot of people just think, hey, I bought the spot, no more dues or fees with that parking spot, but it continues.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the number one way condo sellers sabotage their own sale?
Sabotage their own sale.
Yeah.
Well, it starts with showing it, right? It's a game of numbers. So if you're going to turn down showings, I think your chances of selling are significantly lower. So, we run into issues with, families have little kids. It's not easy to get out of the house. We all know last minute showings come in like that. It's 1 o'clock. People want to get in at 3 o'clock. You have 2 babies at home. You're working from home. You have so many things going on. So turning down showings, I think, is number one. Less people through the door, that's pretty straightforward.
Absolutely.
Not getting it ready for the showing. So if you're not willing to give the property a refresh that it needs to make it market ready, a fresh coat of paint, giving a little facelift, having things that you've always been sort of kicking down the line for repairs. Take care of all those things. It's going to come out no matter what. And those are just, I would say, 2 important things and could be a sabotage for any seller that's on the market.
Yeah, little details
Yep.
can turn someone off.
Of course.
Just seeing a little water spot,
Yep.
seeing a broken baseboard,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yep.
You got it. People walk away.
100%.
Yeah. What's one hidden red flag in downtown condos that most buyers completely miss?
So we try to make buyers aware of every little important detail. And when you're dealing with high rises, the bylaws and the rules of the building are everything, right? Because you're only owning a very small portion of this building, right? And you still have to abide by the rules that the board and the association puts together. So one thing that we always bring our clients' attention to is rentability in a condo, right? Many buildings in Chicago don't allow rentals, or they'll have a hard rental cap. No more than X amount of units in the building could be rented at any given time. Or, you have to occupy the unit for 2 years before you could rent it, right? A lot of people, don't hold properties very long, right? And even if it's something that they have full intention of occupying and they don't want to rent it, they don't want to be landlords, it still will come into effect in your resale, right?
Absolutely.
People think liquidity. People think, what could I sell quickly? What could I rent if I'm in a pinch, if I get moved to another state for work? And I think rentability and rental restrictions are something that are overlooked by a lot of consumers, but very, very crucial to resale. I mean, it's just something that is simple. There's a lot of buildings in the city of Chicago that you can rent that still feel like very well-managed buildings. So I think that would be a red flag in my book that I pass down to my clients.
Yeah. Exit strategy.
Yep.
What if something happens, right?
Of course.
You need to do something. You cannot sell it right away.
Yep.
What's the best way? Rent it out.
Yep.
Yep. Is downtown Chicago buyers or sellers market right now, and where is it heading?
All right. So from 2020 to about 2022 and a half / 23, we had the worst market in the downtown markets since the crash of 2008. We always gauge the market or buyer seller by amount of inventory on the market, right?
Right.
So we had so much inventory in those years that any buyer that came to the marketplace had so many options, right? More options, more leverage for a buyer. You walk into a high rise, you have an O2 tier, right? You go up, you got another O tier. You go down, you got another O2 tier. You're throwing an offer on all of them, see who moves the most, right? Not much leverage. So it's been a full-blown buyer's market. I would say 2024 was a recovery year. 2025 was a recovery year. And now we're making our way towards a balanced market. Okay. But for a while, it was very, very rough, full-blown buyer's market. A lot of investors took advantage of that market. It's really a tale of two cities. Matt always says this, that you go a little down the street, you go to Lincoln Park, Lakeview, you can't touch a property, right? Can't even, you put an offer in, everything's a multiple bid, you're competing with cash, sort of mirrors the nationwide average that you're seeing, short inventory, too many buyers, not enough supply. So yeah, I've always been very optimistic about downtown. So where it's heading to, if it already almost isn't at a balanced market, it will be a seller's market in the near future. I'm going to call 2027 where it will be a seller's market.
Oh. What's one thing first-time condo buyers never ask but should?
One thing they don't ask. I'll be honest, this is a difficult question because when we take on a client, we do a full consultation, right? So we lay out all the important things. So we like to educate them as much as possible.
Even if they don't ask, you tell.
Yeah, even if they don't ask, we tell. We break it down from start to finish, from the minute you look at your first property until the keys are in your hand, right? So we like to prepare them so they do ask the right questions. So I'm going to say that we try to prepare our clients as best we can, that they know what they're walking into and they're very aware of all the moving parts of the deal, before they come in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good
Sorry
point.
to not answer it.
Yeah, no. That's exactly how it should be, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have real estate brokers and consultants, right?
Yep.
We educate. What's the craziest thing you've seen in condo association rules and regulations?
We had a couple of strange ones where we had a client wanted to keep his bicycle in his unit. And we were in attorney review, and he wanted to verify because he read something in the bylaws that said no bicycles are allowed in the elevator or in the unit. So I thought that was very strange that someone couldn't keep a bicycle in their unit, but that was a real rule, and no one could do it. But we see a lot of pet restrictions, dogs and pets need to go in a freight elevator. People break those rules all the time. If they carry them, there's always a gray area. But yeah, there's some outrageous ones. Funny enough, I just helped a building in the Gold Coast that still allows smoking inside the unit. And they were trying to get that reversed to make it a non-smoking building. There was an uproar with all the residents. A lot of them still smoke in the building. And the way we went in is we sort of pitched it as a resale thing, right? You don't want to turn off buyers, but you'd be surprised how many buildings in the city of Chicago still allow smoking within the units.
Within the units. You don't have to there is no regulation for someone to step outside, for example, to
like
the
a balcony?
Yes.
No, in the units.
In the unit.
Within the units,
Wow.
you could still do it, which is, in my opinion, crazy.
Yes.
It's 2025. Like, I get it, vaping, whatever. But smoking in the unit, that's your first impression, right? You're walking in the hallway, you're hit with, a face full of smoke or that scent of cigarette smell. It's an immediate turn off.
It penetrates everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of buildings, if they haven't already, will go that direction. But it was an older building in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and I like in some regulations there are statements about carrying the pets.
Yeah.
And this is good because I've seen pets peeing on the carpets in hallways, and then it's very hard. Of course, it smells.
Yep.
It doesn't look good.
I know.
So that should be addressed also.
Big time.
Big time.
I love dogs, but sometimes the messes they make, it could be, it could be reflecting poorly on the building if it's not addressed right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Has to be regulated.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. Photos, staging, open houses. What's the real secret to selling a condo fast in downtown?
Price. And then obviously all the other things follow. But price is the most important thing. If you're priced above the market, obviously you're not going to get the attention that the property needs. After that, if you have a vacant property, it's only going to help you when you stage it, right?
Correct.
Those costs are going to be a drop in the bucket when you are getting the results you want in a short amount of time, right? And you're recouping your investment.
Right.
A lot of consumers lack the vision. I want to do a study on the same unit, right? And they're viewed back to back, and how people give feedback on that exact unit, staged and empty. Because everything appears larger with staging. A lot of people think that it makes it smaller because you're filling up the room. But when you walk into a living room that's furnished very well, that has a couch, a coffee table, the proper lighting, it almost gives that consumer the idea of how it will be to live there, right?
It blossoms.
It does. It really
Yes.
does. It's
Opens.
sad. You walk into a vacant unit that's been vacant for a while, you feel it. You walk into a room, you're like, I guess I'll put my couch there, or I'll do this, I'll do that. But if it's all there for you, less to think about, you get that warm and fuzzy feeling, and the property will showcase 10 times better. What was the third thing you said? You said staging and
Photos.
photos. Yeah,
Yes.
media is like so important without being deceiving, because there are a lot of photography companies out there that, will use a wide lens or make the property, showcase larger than it really is. And I think you're doing a disservice to not only the seller, but you're doing a disservice to all the prospective buyers, because you're going in and you're let down from at first look.
Yeah.
They're walking in, they're immediately like, this looked a lot bigger in the photos. And, it's just not going to work out. I like to have them pleasantly surprised. So have accurate photos, clear, lighting is everything. Do it on a sunny day, but photos are very important.
And, this one has 3 separate questions.
Okay.
So, biggest condo myth. for
Biggest
you?
condo myth.
Yes.
A lot of people think condos don't appreciate, right? Downtown in the high-rise market, they'll look at pricing. They'll be like, this is trading at the same it was 10 years ago in 2016, but they don't often think about the factors that went into that pricing, right? We went through a pandemic. We were coming off the crash of '08. So I'm optimistic that we're on a straightaway of no more catastrophes. But I think that having a realistic expectation for your resale value and your appreciation downtown should be set by their buyer's agent, by their broker. We've never really been a home run city, right? We've never been a Florida where you could double your money in 2 years or a year, or I don't even know what it is now. It's almost outrageous how fast you could make money over there.
Absolutely.
Chicago has always been more of a conservative approach to real estate, Cost of living continues to increase, which will often guide your appreciation as well. But it's something that a lot of people don't have the patience for, and they want it fast. They want it now. I want to buy something. I want it to be worth $100,000 more next year, and that's often not the case. So I think that that's a myth, that people see all these articles, double, triple your money on a condo purchase. It doesn't happen in our city specifically.
All right. Most outrageous clients' requests.
Outrageous clients' requests. So we were selling this isn't really outrageous, but night showings happen very often, right? And if you're in the summer, it doesn't get dark until late, 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes. So that makes for a very late showing, obviously. So we were selling a unit at the Aqua, and it was beautiful view. You have a front row shot of the fireworks, and it was something that he wanted to see at night. So we were there, 9 p.m., sitting there waiting. And I think stuff like that just, it could be exhausting, doing a showing until 9 or 10 p.m. at night. But at the same time, I totally get it, because you're buying this place and you want to see it. You want to see the view, because that's what you're buying, right? This beautiful showcase view, and you want to see it at different times of day. So I understand, but sometimes there are a lot of requests that will make our days a lot longer.
I've had a client who asked to look at the place 3 times.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not buying unless I see it 3 times.
Wow.
So be ready for that.
Interesting.
So that was
That's the lucky number.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yes,
Wow.
3 times. Yes.
Wow.
I got to look at the place 3 times before I even put the contract.
Yeah. I wonder what most times, we always get family members. I want to show my aunt, then I want to show my brother, then I want to show this, that. So yeah, it's got to have some stamina.
Yeah,
You got to have some stamina.
Absolutely. And one more. Favorite buildings to show in Chicago?
Favorite buildings. So I would say One Bennett is a very, very amazing building. It's an awesome building to show. The amenities are awesome. Trump Tower, it's been a historic building for a very, very long time. The amenities there are beautiful. The views are beautiful. The floor plans are great. You just get a good feeling walking into the lobby of these buildings, right? They smell good. They feel good. They feel expensive. It's a nice feeling. So I think that the luxury buildings are definitely up there with my favorites to show. Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite high rise?
Well, to 220 North Illinois. I mean West Illinois.
220 West Illinois.
East Illinois. I'm sorry,
okay.
East Illinois.
Nice.
Yeah. That one is one of my.
You like it?
Yes.
Yeah. How about
I love it.
What do you think of the Hancock? Everyone loves the Hancock.
I've sold several in Hancock.
Yeah.
And I've heard different stories about Hancock. Some people are happy, some people are not. I've heard the stories when it was built and it was not stable and the top floors were with the wind in windy days were shaken so much that the water would be splashing out of the bathtubs. I've heard those stories also in John Hancock.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting building.
It's a cash only building, isn't that crazy?
Cash only building. Yeah. What's the reason for that cash only?
Because of all the commercial space.
Uh-huh.
Lenders won't borrow in there. I think there are some buildings some lenders that will do it. Little heightened rate, but it's possible. But for the most part, and same with Aqua. Aqua's cash only too. It's been like that for a while. So, and the price point's not low, so it's tricky. So these are things that will affect the resale on it for sure.
Absolutely. Well, John-Paul, thank you very much.
Of course.
That will conclude our meeting today.
All right.
And we've got the best interview downtown. Condo.
I don't know about the best, but I hope it was interesting.
It was the best.
All
You gave everything just on the spot what we asked. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Very exciting, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you.